Well, the Connecticut primary elections are now just 1 week away.
And with our weekly Turnout Tuesday segments here on Fox 61, we're getting you ready to get out and vote. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc is joining us now live in Hamden. She's at the League of Women Voters of Connecticut. Julia, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you both. We are joined by the president of the League of Women Voters here, Laura Smits. Thank you so much, first of all, for waking up with us here at the 6:30 hour. She is a true trooper. And we have some sample ballots. Now, what do you see? Do people get a little bit nervous not knowing what they're going to be running into when they get to their polling place, and that's why they kind of avoid voting sometimes?
Sometimes it's a lack of knowledge. They're not really sure what they're voting for. They're not sure where they're supposed to go. But most of the time, people are just nervous if they haven't done it before.
Right.
Once you've voted once, it's basically a habit that you get into. Right. And everybody should vote in every election they can. Primary, referendum, general election. Every time you vote, you get more confident about what you're voting for. And I think that's what it is. People need to go and research their candidates, research the issues, and find out who's on the ballot and which one measures and matches with their values.
Right. Okay. So you were lovely and you brought us these sample ballots
These
here.
are sample ballots.
Can you show us, and just show the camera here, this is what people are going to see, right? Walk us through this a little bit.
Okay, so there are two. We have a closed primary system in Connecticut. This is the Hartford sample ballot.
Right.
And these sample ballots can be found on the Secretary of the State's website, which is SOTS.gov, and it's basically, this is what you'll see when you get your ballot when you go to the polling location. And we have a closed primary, as I said. So this is the Democratic primary, and the Democratic primary only has 2 races on it. This primary, one for the Secretary of the State's race, which is very competitive this year, and not just in Connecticut, but in every state. And also the treasurer is a very competitive race. That's not usually a competitive race, but this year it is on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, they have a race for Senate, and they also have a race for the Secretary of the State. Again, it's a wide open race because Denise Merrill, who was our Secretary of the State for 17 years, stepped down, so it was a wide open race. So now it's a competitive race. So basically, these are basically what people are going to see, either the Democratic ballot with 2 or the Republican ballot with 2 races.
Right, okay.
So it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. And we'd like to try to take some of the angst out of it for people so they know what they're doing. When they walk in, we find that if people don't know what they're doing, they're a little afraid, they might not show up. But really, elections are math.
Right.
Who shows up? That's our representative democracy. Right. So we always encourage people to show up at every single race.
And now, what do they need to bring with them on their person when they head to the polling place? Okay,
the best thing to bring with you, of course, is your license. That's usually what everybody brings. We don't need a photo ID in Connecticut, but your license is probably the easiest thing, usually the thing people most have. But any kind of, if you're on the list and you're a registered voter, all you need to do is show something with your name on it, and not necessarily your address, because your address is already there. And if you were on that list, the Secretary of the State's office, the registrars have vetted you. You are an eligible voter, and therefore you should be able to vote. But you just have to show something with your name, and that's pretty much it. Okay. It's not that hard.
All right, Laura. Thank you for encouraging us all and getting rid of some of that anxiety. I know especially young voters or someone who may not have done it in a long time is a little rusty and needs these reminders here that it's easy, and people like yourself will walk everybody through. I'm sure if someone gave you a call, you'd be happy to answer and help people out as well.
Exercise that democracy muscle.
Thank you so much, Laura. And she's a wealth of knowledge. We're going to speak with her again, bring you more information in our later shows as well. For now, though, we are live in Hamden. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News. Hi, good morning to you. You saw her in our 6 o'clock hour, and now here she is again. We have the president of the League of Women Voters. This is Laura Smits. Laura, thank you once again. We are blessed to have you here. What would be your message to voters right now? We are a week away from primary day, August 9th, happening here in Connecticut, and you want to tell people about their polling place and the time they need to get out, right?
Absolutely. Polls open at 6 a.m. Make sure you're registered before you go, which you probably are by now. We've been making sure everybody's getting that message to get registered, and make sure you're registered with a party so you can participate in either the Republican primary or the Democratic primary. If you're unaffiliated, you still have some time to get affiliated with the party so you can participate on Tuesday. Polls open at 6. They're open from 6 to 8. If you can't make it on Tuesday, get an absentee ballot. There's still time to do that. And you can go straight to your town clerk's office and do the application and the absentee ballot right there, or you can certainly do the application and get one mailed to you. Time is of the essence.
Right. But unfortunately, it's too late to switch parties if you're already registered Republican or Democrat, right?
Yes, that's true. We have a closed primary system in Connecticut, so you have to be a member of the party. And the time to switch parties was about 3 months ago. So that ship has sailed. However, just turn out.
Right.
That's the important message.
And why is it so important to turn out?
It's basically like exercising any other muscle in your body. You need to always vote. Whenever there's an election, a referendum, a primary, it's important to participate because each time you do it, it gets easier, you get more knowledgeable, and you become more a part of your community. More voting means more engagement with the community, and that's important. And that's how we get our leaders. If people vote, it's more representative. Otherwise, the only people that get to determine are the ones who show up. So if you don't show up, you're not counted, and therefore your opinion is not counted as much.
All right, Laura, thank you so much once again for joining us on
You're
the
welcome.
Fox 61 Morning News. We will have all of this information on our website at fox61.com. Also, she walked us through a sample ballot, which will be very helpful for people who might have some anxiety about they don't know what that ballot's going to look like or how to fill it out. Find that on fox61.com. We will send it back to you guys.
All right, Julia, important information everybody needs to keep in mind. Thanks so much.